Hey, Tim, how we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and we've got Fugly and Lauren straight up. Well done, directors. I don't know what's going on with this psychedelic camera at the moment. Hey, guys and gals, I don't actually know what's going on with this at the moment. These tech issues seem to be crazy, don't they? Zerg, how you going, mate? Did everyone know it was Memorial Day today? It's what we're here for. It's one thing to remember, but it's another thing to educate. So that's what we're doing. We can't let a day slip by. The biggest day, the biggest weekend in the US calendar. It is our equivalent of Anzac Day. We're going to be talking about it tonight, so that they understand, lest we forget, is very important to us. It is so important, because there is gold star mothers and fathers right now who are wondering how many people really remember how we educated our future politicians so that it doesn't happen again. Lest we forget. Thanks, guys and gals. Team, it is so important to give a tribute, a physical tribute that shows those that might be sitting alone, that might be wondering about how their life could have been if they hadn't have got that telegram, if they hadn't have had the knock on the door, the notification party turn up to their place of work. Tonight, this is what we do. Tonight, we recognise another country, our brother in arms, those that pursue freedom on our behalf, the big brother that are there for if Australia ever needs to call and say, we've been with you for over 100 years. Almost every conflict the US has been in has been because someone said to them, can you come and help? They haven't expanded their borders. So that's why we're here tonight. It's not to commemorate those that wear the uniform. It is to commemorate those who fell wearing the uniform. The guys and gals that gave it all, that gave away all of their tomorrows so that we could have them instead. Did they think they were going to fall? No. You never do. They go for a big adventure. Do they go to hurt people? No. Volunteers? What's sadder, when a volunteer falls or when someone that's drafted falls? I don't know. Tonight, team, before I do our introductions, this is going to be here. And we'll think about James Meredith Hupp tonight, who lost his life, his struggles after returning from operations. One of our Patreon members' sons, Jody, this one's going to be for your son, and also for all of those that fell around him during his career and before. Starting in 1866 when the first tributes occurred. So let this flame be not an eternal flame. Don't get excited, those pyros either. Whoop. Like a candle in the wind. It's not necessarily, it's a somber moment, but it doesn't have to be a sad moment. This is a time for remembering. But where do I put that? Where am I going to put that safely? How about we put it there? Can we see it? Not really. Shit. Okay, guys and gals, we know it's there. That's the flame. It represents James Meredith Hupp. You've probably heard the poem from him already. Let's go through and see who we've got today. We've got Dave D here. We've got Zerg. We've got Lauren. Mr. Buckaroony is here as well. We've got Kane Higgins. We've got Jay Hayes. Mate, thank you very much for my Cowboys jersey, for the fantastic letter, for the 20 nicker, for the tribute to the channel. That sign of respecto, mucho respecto, not su cow. Thank you very much. I'll be wearing that often, especially during winter. Okay, we've got Martin here. Sup, Kaz? Much love, brother, and back to you. We've got Bryce Elliott drafted. Sad if drafted? Yeah, because you don't have to agree with the conflict that occurs, but you shouldn't have to fight it either unless it's on your own soil. We'll talk about some statistics in a moment, that are quite sad talking about numbers. And Jackie Turtle, how you going, mate? Beats the hare, but only on the first race. Lauren, I see some bad storms, Jay. Kane, g'day, Kane. How you going, mate? Kane up there in Mackay. We've got Kynan Pepper. Hi, Lauren and the team. How is everyone? We've got Dave D. Yes, we've always got Dave D here. He's getting some great news here. He's done his first parade as an officer, as an Army Reserve officer. We won't go too much into what his exact name is because we don't want to get him in trouble with social media, etc. Dave and Blue Dog Fishing. Okay, Blue Dog Fishing, Blue Hurler. We've got San Andreas from a US citizen and Australian citizen. Thanks. I hope to be a US Marine in a few years. There you go. If not, come back to Australia, join the 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment, and pretty much the same thing. We've got Peter Cram. Good to see you back to watch the live stream again. We're going to cram one in, so to speak. We've got RXNZY. Hey, you're a big inspiration for me. Keep it up. And it's up. Not so much. Dewey Curtis, Tonkin, did you get the SMS about the enlistment ceremony, mate? The team is getting bigger as well that we've got for the 1st of June enlistment. Chris has just joined us as well. Won't let you know his last name. We spoke today. He got given a phone call saying, "Hey, dude, that call, he only done his paperwork like 6 weeks ago, and he's already got an enlistment date for 1 week from now." But that's not what today's about. Today is about us giving our respects, our tribute, sending a message across the ocean so that the USA sees that they're normally the last ones to turn up to the fight when they're with Australians. Okay, but they always make it and they bleed just as hard or harder than most. So we want them to hear our call so that the brothers I've served with understand that we hear their pain as they dip their head, take their hat off, and remember their brothers and sisters that have fallen in the pursuit of peace. Not for their family, but for others that have called and said, "Help me." So tonight, we've got our candle over here. And what we're doing tonight is not just remembering, but we're displaying and we're educating. To those that didn't know it was Memorial Day, here's some facts and figures that I'm going to quickly read out to you. And there is a lot of controversy about when did Memorial Day first happen. Before I do that, I'll explain something else to you. Memorial Day for the US is like our Remembrance Day. It's a little bit backwards because it started with their civil war that was back in 1866. Well, that's when it ended, I believe. And when the ladies went and started laying the flowers down on the graves, I believe it was after Gettysburg, that became a day of significance. The first time the flowers were introduced to the graves, etc. And so that became a holiday, so to speak, or a tribute. From there, what occurred was when World War I happened, when World War II happened, etc., they still had the time for commemoration was on their not Remembrance Day, which marked the armistice, the end of World War I when the guns fell silent, the 11th. Okay. What it was all about was they tied that to their initial Memorial Day, and our Remembrance Day is their Veterans Day, where they give respect to those that are still alive and serving. So don't get them mixed up. But here's some figures for you. In May 1866, the residents of Waterloo, New York, they observed Memorial Day in honor for all those who have died during the Civil War. Businesses are closed and soldiers' graves were decorated. Then in 1971, Congress Memorial Day, a national holiday, be celebrated in the last Monday of May every year. The casualties. The Civil War had more than 620,000 Americans. The Union lost 365,000 and the Confederacy about 260,000. I didn't know that. And that was due to disease as well. World War I, 116,000. Australia lost 60,000. Then World War II, the US lost 405,000 soldiers in a foreign war. We lost 40,000. Korean War, 36,574. Vietnam conflict, 58,220. Operation Desert Storm, Desert Shield, 383. Operation Iraqi Freedom, 4,410. Operation New Dawn, 73. Operation Enduring Freedom, 2,347. Operation Freedom Sentinel, 90 service members have died up until May 2020. Operation Inherent Resolve, 95 service members have died as of May 2020. And this doesn't mention places like Somalia as well. So, or in training, or those that lost their lives when they came home and could not free themselves up from their demons. So tonight, this is what we do. We're going to take a moment's silence now. And for all those who are here, okay, let's lower our head for 20 seconds. Okay, we can do a minute. We'll do a minute. Okay, team. Madison, how you going, mate? Tom Moody, g'day, buddy. What we're going to do is just take a minute out, team, as we would normally do in Anzac Day or Remembrance Day, and we'll remember the fallen from our US brothers and sisters that served beside us in times of strife. Okay. They shall grow not old, as we the left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. And at the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget. Thanks, guys. Thanks to the Gold Star mums and dads to still try to make sense of the past in order to educate the future. Hopefully, the people that hold the pen that signs the executive orders, okay, is held, and they dwell and they think about the cost of the signature that goes into helping others, okay, as well as defending themselves. So with the seriousness out the way, it's a big weekend in the US, Australia. Thank you for being here with me tonight. As we said, lest we forget to our US brothers and sisters. I am sure those that come to the channel from the US, the message will be heard. Ed Bennett, I am sure, will pass that message on. Jody will see this. She sees all the messages. As a Gold Star mother, I think it's very important that people see that people care. And we do care. We do. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for the respect here as well. Robbie Kent is here. So is Full Metal Jacket. Where we go? We've got Billy Crash. We've got Stephen K. Lest we forget. Yep. Spencer. I had a couple of ideas, but one was a soldier transitioning back to civilian life. Is it possible you have some stories of yourself or others you'd be willing to share that could possibly translate? Well, I could. Can we just keep it down for a second there in comments? So I'll quickly talk about the transition back to civilian life. Now, naturally, it depends on how long you've served, to how hard that can be. It also depends on how close you are to the spear point, to how hard it is, depending on how far is your in-service career separated from anything that is similar within the civilian world. Because there is Lauren did know what this is. G'day, Mr. P. Here you go, mate. Lauren would know there's a thing called it's like a syndrome that you go through where it's hard to fit back in again. I'm coming up short here, Danny DeVito style. Basically, what happens is once you've been a civilian, fine, but it is a one-way valve once you become military. One of the things that's very hard to do when you get out of military is have small talk. It's normally you tend to be around your brothers. The longer you've been in, your circle of friends, it might be large or there might be several pockets of them. And where you choose to hang out with, okay, will keep you sort of level killed. When you go and try to rub shoulders with civilians after you've been in the military, a lot of what we do and what we say is almost like a bloody war crime. A readjustment. There we go, Lauren. Readjustment is extremely difficult because everything we do, everything we say seems to offend those that are around us because first world problems aren't a big deal to us. And I'll tell you something else that is a weird thing too with soldiers is we jump to conclusions very, very quickly. We jump to catastrophize very, very quickly because everything we do in the military is shortened amount of time, maximum amount of action. That doesn't mean we jump too quickly, but what it does mean is we make an assumption, a gut instinct, and if we're still alive, we tend to trust that gut instinct is right. And we tend to be stuck in our ways because once we've got a mission that we're willing to stick to, after that, we sort of can't be shaken off that unless it's one of our own brothers or sisters that tells, oi, okay, have you considered doing it this way? A second course of action, third course of action. So that can make us very difficult to fit into the modern world that is getting more and more watered down, whipped by the left, so to speak. The squeaky wheel is doing untold damage on today's society, and that's just amongst the civilian world. Imagine what it does to someone who has come from a nothing is off limits kind of personality, group of brothers and sisters, and then all of a sudden coming in, everything you do or say is quarantined. It's a tough one. Kaz is having brain farts. I'm just trying to say it in a way that's easily palatable, I guess. And there's so many things that in the military context of conversation, the dark humor that creeps in, that you can talk about any subject at all, almost any subject, and it doesn't offend anyone, regardless of what their background is, because they're there with you. Yeah. We often get told when we go to parties, oh, be careful you don't stir up that person. Be careful you don't say this in front of that person. Don't say this in front of her. Why not? And it should not worry you as much. What did we say the other day, Lauren? Offense is taken, not given. Unless I do something to absolutely target someone and go, you are filling the expletive, then it shouldn't offend them. Right? If there is an opinion that you have, then someone can talk to you about it and go, no, I disagree with that based on this, this, and this. And you might go, you're right. This is all part of my adjustment back in the civilian life. Thanks very much. Leo Wanker, stuntman for life. No more from you, mate. Not too cow. I went and did a course just so I could learn how to readjust back in this civilian life. And it scared me even worse. There was a lady there that was at Warner's Bay. And there was a lady there who was crying because she has, what do you call it? She gets anxiety about choices. If you say to her, choose something, she'll break down in tears. It's really weird because she was really ultra feminist as well. One of those boss bitch sort of stickers on a car. But if you ask her what chocolate would you like, bam, goes to water straight away. It was weird, and I thought, oh shit, I hope it's not that bloody sensitive when I get out there. But it never made it to that anyway. Jay Hayes, not so cow. The cow counts too. Jared, hey guys, finally assessment session day booked. Had a few hiccups along the process. Yep. However, I've overcome. Was so happy about the good news that I've progressed. And that's what it is, one gate at a time. You don't need to be thinking about SASR yet. You don't need to be thinking about commandos yet. Just think about Kapuka. And at the moment, Kapuka could very well be the easiest ever been in history because there's no gate for fitness when you're there. You will not get backscooted to the point that you do not graduate from Kapuka, which is a mistake. It's a horrible mistake that's happening right now. There is a standard to get there, the pre-enlistment fitness assessment, but there is not necessarily the BFA, the standard to get out of there that means you can go out in the field environment and people will be able to say this person should be robust enough to be able to go through the rigors of being an Australian soldier, regardless of the corps. So it's a bit scary. And then there's naturally the isolation. We're in uncharted territory at the moment with the sickness, and but it's not your fault. So we won't hold you accountable for that either. Mr. P, if you want a career in the service and selected to be a GSO, that is a light at the end of the tunnel. And the thing with the military too, when you go to become an officer, you've got to remember this. And it's funny, no one's really actually pressured me about this one, is you don't join as an officer and say, I'm going to be an infantry officer. I'm going to sign on to be an infantry officer. What happens is you will go to RMC, you will do your 3 classes of training that you do there, and the instructors will tell you what corps you're going to. You can say, I'd like to go to this, but based on your performance, that will determine whether you actually get that gig or not. And that's pretty scary. If you go in there and you're an underachiever, whether it be physically, whether it be mentally, whether it be academically, whether you just haven't grown into who you are yet because you're too young, but you would have been awesome, 2 years later. So don't race it. You don't want to get caught out because it will make determinations of the rest of your career or how short it's going to be. William Krask. Lauren saw a lady driving a Merc number plate. WA was his. Tyler, there you go, mate. Proud to be Australian and hoping to join in 6 months. Not too cow, mate. Bonnie Tyler. Total Eclipse of the Heart. One of my favourite songs. Turn around, bright eyes. Yeah. Jordan Williams. Hey, Kaz. Hey, everyone. G'day, Jordan. You missed the moment of silence. What we're doing tonight is remembering Memorial Day, which is the equivalent of Remembrance Day, Anzac Day for Aussies and Kiwis. So the US gets 3 days to party. It runs into their Labor Day as well, the last Monday of the month in May. And from there, they remember those that have fallen. More than 1 million. So it's a big day. And we're here to remember and let them know that we remember. Eduardo Rodriguez. USA have recently introduced a new fitness assessment for their troops. Consists of overhead throws and dragging and carrying weights. Will Australia follow possibly? I don't know, mate. I really don't know. There is no magic cure, mate. There's not. If I was to make a fitness test, it'd simply be one. There'd be just one. Don't make it complicated. The run in under 11 and a half minutes or 11 minutes. Swimming 200 meters without stopping, without putting your feet on the ground. Okay, push-ups, it'd be 40 to 60, probably 60. Chin-ups, 5, something like that. Dips, maybe. A casualty pull, maybe. Don't know. But there only needs to be one test. Maybe that goes down a little bit with age as you gain in value because the private soldier is not as valuable, is more expendable than a section commander, who's more expendable than a sergeant, who's more expendable than a warrant officer, etc., if you're quality, that is. We're not a charity. Brady, she won't get another guy with those plates. Probably not, mate. Is. Jordan Williams, hey, Lauren, love you, Kaz. Thanks for the help. Off to Kapuka in a month. Jordan, it's like you've said, send me the coldest possible Kentucky tour time. And as I get onto the bus, just watch those little claps as you get on there, as your friends think, glad it's not me. I'm going in summer. Not that you get to wear a singlet anyway. We've got Angus Langdon. G'day, mate. And Oh, that sounded good. Not too cow for you in the yellow. Thank you very much, mate. You haven't got a question on there. Is there anything, my favourite piece of meat, the Angus, that we could answer for you, mate? Is there anything we can do? Let us know. You deserve it. You're soaking in it. Patrick John, you've expressed your opinion on artillery and why people should stay away from it. I'm guessing the army knows this. If so, why do they push for people to go to artillery so bad? It's essential. You've got to have it. Not every job in the army is cool. You know, there's some that aren't inspirational at all. But let's just say that you get told you want to join the military, okay? And you decide, because everyone's got a different flavor, so to speak. What if they say to you, what's the most important thing to you? That you have a uniform on your back or that you get to the core you want? If we can't give you the core you want, but here's a way of getting into a uniform now, and then maybe there's opportunity for you to move over, you're still going to have a history of wearing a uniform, straight patch on your arm, getting paid, having stability, having a career, having opportunity. Artillery is an arms corps. They're essential. Indirect or can be direct fire support. Very important. And there's some people that absolutely love it. Love it. Because it's a skill you can perfect. It's about fitness. It's about teamwork. It's about problem solving. It's about mathematics. And I'm just saying they're poorly managed a lot of the time. But there's plenty of good people that are there. I'm just trying to protect your back. That's all. Dave. G'day, Kaz. X1RA here. The big donkey guys. The big blue one. The Premier Battalion. Dave, you can have that. But we are 2nd Battalion, second to none. So that is a question that has gone back and forth between 1RA and 2RA for so many years. It's not funny. And 3. But it was a pleasure to serve beside 1RA. And I love those guys just as I like my battalion. Love my battalion. And 3 and 6 and 8, 9, 5 and 7. I love 4 too. Used to be part of it. 2-4, that is, before the delinking. Angus, no worries for the donation. I'm an apprentice mechanic. Fantastic. At the moment, thinking of joining after I get qualified and going to infantry. What's your thoughts? Angus, I think no worries. You've sort of done it a back to front part, haven't you? Become an apprentice and then leave those skills behind and go to infantry. It would have been good for you to come to infantry and then go, you know what? I might move over to engineers where, although I'm not, or Ramey, where I'm not going to necessarily be treated like an apprentice. I'm going to get paid full wage from the start. Not get treated like a kid. Be working on vehicles that are big, expensive, cool, and specialised. JC, the thin blue line. Sorry I'm late, team. How are we? JC is our local residential police officer. The thin blue line, the guy that looks after everyone domestically, okay, once we come back from being abroad. It's great to have you here, mate, and I hope your shoulder's well. I was going to call you today, but the last few days, I have been on the phone more than Esme Watson for those that have their age. Okay, and it's been a pleasure. We've been getting a lot of good news, but we're also getting some bad news, and I'll explain that quickly. Patrick John, not too cow. What's your favourite military movie, and which one do you think most accurately depicts service life? Full Metal Jacket a little bit. The Odd Angry Shot a little bit. Break Moran a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a tough one. I didn't know that, Lauren. Nickname is Esme Watson. Leave it with me, Patty John. Leave it with me. Right. That's a tough one. Which one? Maybe none. Maybe none of them are really that accurate, really. And it depends on which military you're talking about. Yeah, so JC, basically what we're talking about tonight is Memorial Day for the USA, the 3-day long weekend that happens on the last week of every May every year. It was really sad to see that because of the sickness, they wanted to block scouts, which is a tradition of going and laying flowers on the graves at Arlington, I think it was. I thought that was really tragic. People that lay down their lives for a career shouldn't be scared while social distancing of maintaining customs and traditions. That's my opinion. Frank LM10, have you seen a Grunt's Life? I haven't actually. I haven't. Yanni's, how you going, mate? Generation Killer's been remade. I haven't actually watched that. So you're always on the phone, Lauren. Lauren and myself are okay. I get it. Esme Watson. Full Metal Jacket. Thoughts on 1 and 3. My grandfather served in 1 and 3, and then SASR. Well done, sir. He told me his honest thoughts on SASR, which isn't what everyone's cracked up to be. Yep, and I've got my opinions on that too. I've never served there, but I tell you what, if you can operate at that level for a long period of time, there's still going to be a bill to pay. Don't think they're exempt all the problems that happen with the mind, with the body, that happen to everyone else. Yeah. There's a bill to pay the piper, so to speak. We've got Midway. What are your thoughts on the Steyr, Kaz? I'm not a fan of the Steyr. I'm bloody good shot with it. Not too cow, the big blue one. 1RR. Not a fan of the Steyr. And it's more because I don't like the ball pump design. I don't like the way the shooting mechanism is behind the pistol grip. I don't like the fact that it forces you, okay, to have your weapon on the side and take your weapon away from where you're aiming at, as opposed to holding it there and then doing all the working, with your fingers like you would with the M4, etc. I don't like the fact that what it's made of is that slippery, slimy plastic that when you're patrolling, it just slips around all over the place. It's really awkward. It's front heavy, especially when you've got attachments on it. But it's fine. It's a good weapon for marksmanship. Cradles in the arms well. Dave Bradford, how do you feel about 2-hour gun amphibious? Look, I'm fine with it. I can't have a go at 3-hour who lost their para roll and tell them to get over it, and then get upset when 2-hour gets re-rolled. One of the things I'm not a fan of, best JC, of course, Band of Brothers. That, I believe, is the best depiction of being in infantry life. Band of Brothers. I should have known. It's my favourite series. Straight up. Thanks for that, JC. How do you feel about gun amphibious? Yep, okay. What was I going to say then? I've had a bit of a brain fart there. Band of Brothers was better than the Pacific. There was things about the Pacific that were pretty cool, but Band of Brothers, the fact that it came out not long after Saving Private Ryan, and there was no love story in it other than the love of a man for another man, but not in a sailor albatross or HMAS Canberra kind of way. Spanked the cabin boy. It was good. Top Gun. That'd have to be the most realistic, wouldn't it, JC? Raffies with dog tags. The most danger is getting sunburnt. How was the kick from the Steyr? No, it's bugger all. It's only a 5.56, mate. The SLR used to have a real good kick because it had a wooden butt. So when you fire the 7.62, especially if you're a bad shot and you had to reload, you're not meant to fire a 7.62 more than 60 times. And each time you used to go and do the shoot, the LF9, I believe it was, with the SLR, you're firing 60 shots from a well-aimed shooting, which means that 60 times you're going to get the whack just on your cheekbone. Now, if you have to reshoot, and you have to reshoot more than once, I've seen people's face where they look like the Elephant Man after it. You're like, oh. That guy's going to learn the hard way. JC, we used to watch Top Gun every weekend. To you. Well, wouldn't you? Mate, it's 223. I wouldn't call it a kick. That's right. 223, 456, same thing. Any of you homos touch my stuff, I kill you. What's that movie out of? JC, that hurt. Why? Beer virus. JC, that hurt. I'm not sure what that's about. Jay. Yoni, sorry, is the locally Blaze. It's a good name. Evening, Kaz. First time commenter. I'm off to Kapuka fairly soon as an intelligence analyst. I'd love that. I'd love it. Just wanted to know if you knew much about the life of those who work in intelligence. Thanks, mate. not being intelligent myself, but having wisdom. Um, you may have to learn a language and you don't get to choose it. You will be top secret cleared. You will be privy to many conversations that you can't speak outside of that area of influence, where you will take information that comes from all different ground forces, patterns of life, so to speak, and that will come in and you will add all that patchwork quilt up. And from there, look for trends, look for sympathies, whether they are on our side, the bad guys, or neutral, who can be manipulated, who is absolutely against us. Where do we think that the problems are going to occur? Do we see things are going downhill, or is it getting better? You won't be doing what you used to do. And a lot of that used to be map manipulation, cutting it up by hand, all shitty little jobs. If you can get in there, try and go to what were they called? They're really interesting guys. I taught them unarmed combat enough that they wouldn't actually win, so they could have the same stats as me. Basically, they were HUMINT teams, the guys and gals that go on the ground, and they might be connected to patrols. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but let's just say if they're fluent somewhere, pretend they're not and listen into conversations to see if they're getting bullshitted to. Traductor is the Spanish word for a translator. And sometimes you've got to test them by talking to them, letting them talk, and then someone they don't know is also able to understand that language, goes, did he say it the way I wanted him to say it? If not, sack him, get a new one. JC, I did some intel courses at Canungra Army Base. They start to believe their own hype. It's really weird, sort of raised eyebrows and unusual sorts of people. Paddy John, fun fact, Top Gun is the reason I applied for the military. It's always been one of my favourite movies. Since then, I've learned a lot more about the military, and my passion for it just continues to grow. It's always just about the big adventure, man. That's all it's ever been for me. I just want to be around other people that also want to do that. Yeah. So we're talking about some bad news. For those that don't know, a bit of an update at the moment. We're not trying to get too far off the subject that is remembering the USA on their Memorial Day. But we had one of our lads break his finger in week 12 at the School of Infantry, which means he is now backclassed, healing, and then has to start again. What week they take him back to, I don't know. Broken finger. Complex. We've also got one of our young fellas that busted his knee, and he's now been told, with some of his own decision as well, that before he's even start, this is your dreams over as infantry, and now you're going to go over, and he's been slotted to another corps now. So, yeah. Fugly, what are you doing? You don't need to be throwing something in here, mate. Since it's Memorial Day, Kaz, any stories you'd like to share with us complaining about Yanks? Not too cow. Thank you very much there, Fugly. Complaining about him. I don't really have many complaints, mate. The weird thing is this perception that Americans, that I don't know if they really got along with Australians during Vietnam and some of the previous conflicts. But I've always thought the people that treat us the best out of anyone I've ever worked with is always the US. Right? They just treat everyone so nicely, so much courtesy. I haven't got anything negative to say about them. Consummate professionals, when they're on exchange, when they come over, the regular Ranger, Special Forces guys that come over, fantastic. You learn off them all the time. A second course of action, how to skin a cat, so to speak. Oliver, please, sir, can I have some more? I'm joining for that adventure too. Life's kind of boring. I want some action. We're going to do a stream soon where I'd like Lauren to assist me, and maybe even a second female, so to speak, so that we can have my phone, that'll be Lauren, bat phone, might be someone else, so we can get a lady's opinion. So this predominantly male comment section can do some learning. some educating. And what we're going to be also talking about is the modern landscape for dating. Because, okay, you can come and join the army. I'm really stoked for that, and I want you to have that great adventure. But I also don't want you to miss out on some of the most fantastic things in life. I've blown it with some really, really, really great ladies. And I'd say predominantly it was my fault. All right. I don't want you guys to go through some of those mistakes. So what we might have the ladies on and have a conversation about, what do you want from a guy? What do you want yourself? Honestly. A platform where you can ask them questions and they can give you the answers. Because this is not a life that you want to be by yourself the whole life. And responsibility, I believe, truly comes, and maturity, after you have a child. And seeing people in positions where they haven't got one and have passed their point, that's fine. They have great lives too. But I don't want you to come here and only take away military. I'd like you to hear multiple opportunity subjects that allows you to be able to learn, prepare yourself. Because I've got some real fears about our youth today, and I'm talking about people even in their 20s, not having a fulfilling life if they don't know where to or how to love or be loved. Pretty serious, Kaz, on that one. I want the best for you in everything, except the dentist. Full Metal Jacket. Lauren is the exception in the fact that women can't be funny. Okay. USM MC use the M240 Bravo. We use the M240 as well. We call it Mag 58. So does the Britain. So does every modern army pretty much. It is heavy as hell, but when you put ammunition with it, it's very heavy. But it is the beast of the operational theatre, which is the reason why everyone uses it. Jeremy Dawn. So many comments, Lauren. Madison, great to have you here. Maddie's been on for a while tonight. What were you thinking, Maddie, when you just saw us talking about boys and girls? It's a real subject that's hard to really talk about, isn't it? There's so many people that are like, well, you're not going to date someone and marry someone you went to school with. That's like your first pet. It dies. You learn from it. And then after that, you can't date someone you go to work with anymore because of the hashtag Me Too. But not much good happens from online dating, and clubs aren't really open anymore. So we can give each other the sniff test to see if our pheromones match. Is there something missing in you that you can smell in me and vice versa that makes us compatible? It's a tough one. It's a tough one. What would be worse? This is a tough question. What would be worse? And this is probably not the stream to say it in, but I'll just put it out there so it's not a mystery next time I say it. Being in a country that has the chance for organised marriages, or alternatively being in a country where there's a chance you can go your entire life unloved. There's merits to both. Yep. You can learn to love someone who respects you and who provides and who will be there one day when you're the one coughing in a hospital bed, just wishing you had someone beside you. So there's merits to both. Start thinking about that one day. David, the 240 is being replaced by the Sig Sauer 338. Is it? Why change something that works perfect unless it's lighter and hits harder? I'm not opposed to arranged marriages, just forced marriages. Okay, Lauren? Yep. There you go. Is the Mag 58 used outside of DFSW? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's where there's a difference between sustained fire and normal rate and rapid rate of fire. Three completely different things. Okay, normal rate of fire, 2 to 3 round bursts, 60 rounds a minute. Rapid is 120 rounds a minute, 2 to 3 round bursts. And sustained is normally 20 round bursts, okay, with 5 seconds in between. but they're completely different subject. And that's part direct fire support weapons attached to a tripod with a C2 sight, etc., using the theory of machine gun fire and mathematical equations to tell you exactly what's going to occur. But we've done videos on that before, but it was in the previous channel. Okay, live bait. There's a name for you. Hey, Kaz, what rank did you get to in the Army? I was a sergeant, mate. I was a sergeant. I think sergeant is the best rank in the Army as far as the ORs, and I think major is the best rank as an officer. What do I mean by that? The sergeant is the last rank, the last position you will be in before you go over from being in the platoon environment where you're around 30 people who are having a ball, and then all of a sudden then you're over in an office by yourself going tick, 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 tick with a never-ending avalanche of paperwork that is impossible to complete. That's not what you're joined for. It isn't. While a major, you are still connected to the franchise, the rifle company, where you have the power of GOD over 100 or so men, where you are the leader of the ship, so to speak, before you go over, and then you're sitting in an office going, a bit of ASMR there for you. So lieutenant is a great rank too, but I don't think they get enough chance to really stand out or opportunities that allow them to not just learn their trade, but to make mistakes without repercussions. Patrick John, why do you like giving the Navy shit? I love it. You've got to, mate. You've got to. Just like they've got to give it to us. And just like the RAF as well. You've got to tease each other. But everyone knows that the coolest job in the Army, Air Force, Navy is definitely going to be infantry. And the reason why I say that every single time is because you're around 30 people. I explained this to someone yesterday. Just say you're in armored vehicles. You're looking directly at someone who's sitting across from you, facing back towards you, weapon, barrel pointed down, sitting there. And that's just APC. It could be a Bushmaster, it could be LAV, it could be Boxer, it could be anything. It could be something from overseas. And you're just sitting there cruising, taking it easy, have a sleep, suck on the diesel fumes as they come down. But there's 8 of you. When the hard work's over, then the fun is going to be there. And the vehicle over from you, there's another 8. And the vehicle on the other side, guess what? There's another 8. So you've got 30 people that you get to basically choose when you stopped, take your hat off, hand your rifle in, or when you're sitting around just going, what are we going to do from here? Things to clean. Your rifle and your teeth. That's it. When you're not out bush, okay, when you're not overseas, then your job is just to stay fit and keep out of trouble. That's it. And repair for the next time. Your day, you could spend a whole work day planning on a dive trip you're going to do on the weekend. If you go to 1, 2, or 3 area, how fantastic is that? If you're in 2 commando, you might go surfing for PT, as long as you keep coming up with the goods. It's amazing. There's no job like it where you get paid so much to do nothing with the promise that one day you might have to do something catastrophic. Yeah. Come on, Kaz. Being a full...